freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your round 3 recap for this week's BMW Championship. And joining me to break it all down, it's Greg DuCharme. Greg, good to have you.
Thanks, Rick. Great to be here as always. What a tournament! Another BMW Championship that's, I would say, intriguing, but quite different than last year's.
Quite different from last year's. Yeah, we are already at a third round lead, a 54-hole lead of 21 under par, Greg. And there's not much sign this is stopping anytime soon. We are going to likely see a winner 25, 26 under par, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair number. I do think this is a challenge to predict. Because look, there are big names up here at the top of the leaderboard, and Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Cantlay, Sungjae Im, Abraham Answer, Rory McIlroy, all these guys have played really well before on Sundays. But on the PGA Tour as a whole, since May, no round leader has won. No 36-hole leader, no 54-hole leader. I believe this is what I just heard on the broadcast, Rick. No 18-hole leader.
I heard that too, and I was very skeptical of that. I knew it was 54-hole leaders that we've been tracking over the course of the last 14 weeks. We're up to 14 for 54-hole leaders. That was as they were going off air, that was the first I ever heard of 36 or 18-hole leaders. I would like more information on that.
yeah. Well, maybe we can go back and verify, but I think the point being Saturday night still holds that.
Yes.
Look, it's tough. It's been tough on 54-hole leaders, and we've seen Bryson have real struggles. So I don't think that's something that he is above by any means. Patrick Cantlay's been really solid all year. Is his game going to hold up? So the reason I bring that up, Rick, is when you start to predict this winning score, is one of the 17s, which includes Sergio Burns, McIlroy, Answer, are one of those guys going to shoot 8 under tomorrow? Is that the number that they're targeting? Is Jon Rahm going to go shoot 9 under tomorrow? I don't know. So I guess I could see it at 25, but I think it's more likely, or there's a good chance that 24 could win as well.
Well, it's not only one man who will sleep on the 54-hole lead. There's 2 of them. Let's start with the better round 3 score. That's Patrick Cantlay. And this was kind of a weird little round for Cantlay. He gets off like a bat out of hell. He eagles number 2. He birdies 3. He takes the lead at that point, and then he just kind of treads water, Greg. And treading water at Caves Valley and making pars is losing you a lot of ground to the field. And then when Bryson DeChambeau started to have his troubles, which we are going to talk about in just a second, that's when Cantlay really took advantage. He made birdies on 11, 12, 13. He made another on 16 before giving one back on 18. But there was a 5-shot swing from Bryson DeChambeau in favor of Patrick Cantlay over the course of 2 holes. So this was an eventful day for Cantlay.
Very eventful. But what I noticed about today's round, and what I really like, is all the greens of regulation he hit. So he was very, very steady, and up until 18, he's bogey free. And that in part is where it's really easy for your putter to cool off when you get into that kind of situation where you're just hitting greens. You're just hitting green after green after green. And there was a time where early in the round, he was leading in proximity to the hole. He ends the day at 23rd in proximity to the hole. And I think that had a lot to do with the regression in putting, when all of a sudden you're 35 feet for the most part. And that's a little bit different than earlier in the week when you're just filling it up, because he hits more greens today. He hit 16 greens today, hit 14 in round 2, hit 13 in round 1. And now all of a sudden that first putt that you have is a little bit longer on average when you hit more greens. So I look at that as a positive. I think this is entirely a positive. It's just there was a stretch of 6 holes, 7 holes in there where there wasn't really a spark, but there wasn't a mistake either.
with a win, and we don't need to speculate too deep on this, but with a win, Patrick Cantlay, I believe, Greg, becomes your player of the year front runner because this would be his third victory. He would be the number one player heading into the FedEx Cup, which he probably doesn't finish worse than fifth there. So he would, I believe, become the front runner to win, and kind of out of nowhere because it's been a Morikawa / Rahm / Bryson race for the last 6 months.
Yeah, and I think that race still exists. I do think it makes it a lot harder for Jon Rahm. Although it's kind of interesting because one of Cantlay's wins.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Who are players gonna give that to?
Yeah, that's right.
So I think that's a big asterisk in the race. And if I'm looking at the player of the year race, there are a lot of boxes to be checked. And I think Jon Rahm checks the most. He checks the most boxes, but are they the most important ones to players? And if Cantlay hypothetically ends up with 3 wins, Rahm ends up with 1, but you have that memorial there, and there's the chance that some players will give that to Rahm in their mind and take it away from Cantlay. Now all of a sudden you have 2-2. Rahm's got a major. Rahm's got the scoring average. Rahm has the top 10s. I mean, Patrick Cantlay he's only got 5 top 10s. He's also missed 5 cuts. So while it's been steady, I'm not sure that even with 3 wins, it's player of the year worthy.
That's a debate I'm sure we will have in the future. Bryson DeChambeau. You want to talk about an eventful day? Bryson had himself a day almost as he did. Oh my God, Greg. He shoots a 60. He has a 6-foot putt on Friday afternoon on 18 to shoot a 59. It looked like he was going to do it again. He birdies 3. He eagles 4 and 5. Yeah, that's right. Back-to-back eagles. He birdies 8. So he goes out in 30. And then we saw, that was pure ceiling Bryson. And then we saw kind of floor Bryson, which is spray one into the water on 12, make a bogey there, which is one of the easiest holes on the golf course. It's a par 5. And then by his own words, flush one off the tee on the par 3 13th that lands 9 yards short into the water, make a double bogey there. We've talked about this a lot with Bryson DeChambeau. He is week by week, round by round, shot by shot, like the most volatile of golfers on the planet, in my opinion.
And part of that to me, Rick, he's struggled at times with his distance control with his irons. And when I watch him play, he also plays from some difficult spots, right? I mean, the first 2 days, he's hitting half the fairways. Today, there was a stretch, even when he was going really good early on, where he was missing fairways. And he misses a lot of them to the left. I heard him say on the broadcast, why is that? Why is that hooking?
Why is that hooking?
Which is kind of funny, but he misses some. He puts himself in some situations, and that's where his line of luck comes into play. Is it really luck? Good luck, bad luck? Because there are breaks here, but where's the mistake made? And if you hit it in the fairway, and you hit it on the green, luck is far less a factor, at least in tee to green play. But when you start missing way left the way he did at number 8, or to the right like he did on 7 and 9, and you start hitting some errant tee shots, now all of a sudden luck becomes a much bigger factor. But yeah, Rick, he in the first 9 today and yesterday combined shot 59, 29 yesterday, 30 today. So, and then look, it all goes away. Do you think it may benefit him at all that this happened? These bad holes happened today versus tomorrow, or no?
Yes. Yeah. I think he'll never admit this, but I do think that, he has had some Sunday failures. What did he shoot on the back 9 at Torrey Pines? 40, 41? Was it worse than that? 44? It was bad. 44. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was 44. And then I think it was 41. Was that in Memphis?
A couple weeks ago. Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Memphis.
So I think that, yes, if you want to say it, quote, he got it out of the way here, I do think it's better now so that he can kind of reset. We have seen him be very good at making kind of post-round adjustments or round-by-round adjustments because he can go figure something out and find it and carry it over. He's very, very good at that. So, yes, you have your blow-up couple of holes and you are still sleeping on the 54-hole lead, I think that is a very big positive for Bryson.
Yeah, I think so too. And it sounds like the course fit is clearly very good. It's very, very good. Even when he did hit it out of play, with the exception of the 2 shots he hit into the water, he was able to play quite well. But the cool thing for me with Bryson is it sounds like the crowds are a little quieter this week. And from what they were saying on the broadcast, it's been a lot better. I heard the same thing. I listened on the radio on Sirius XM for a little bit today. They said the same thing. Crowds seem a little bit more tame. So I wonder if that will have a positive impact on him. And if he can get a little bit of support, maybe this is a good opportunity for him to break through.
Maybe the most disappointing round of the day was Jon Rahm's. And while Bryson was kind of chopping it up all over the place and making bogey on a par 5 and double on the next par 3, he was providing a lot of cover for Jon Rahm, who did not play well down the stretch. Rahm, was continuing to put himself in position. He goes out in 4 under 32. He birdies 12. So he's 5 under at that point in his round with 6 holes to go, Greg. And he makes a bogey on 13, a bogey on 14, and another on 18. And it was just a lot of loose shots out there. Didn't take advantage of the par 5 16th. He did not. That 6-hole stretch, and I know it's only 6 holes, and whatever you want to say about it, I understand it's a small sample size. He's been so good that we can say that's like the worst 6-hole stretch he's had in months. Like that's not an understatement because of how good he's been, but very disappointing for him to essentially play himself out because he's 5 back with 18 to go.
Right. And it's a long way back. And this is a guy you're looking at going into today saying, all right, this is Jon Rahm's tournament to win. But again, back 9 struggles. I think it's the 3rd round in a row, in my opinion. He was bogey free, remember, going into the second 9 at Liberty National on Saturday, and makes a couple of mistakes coming down the stretch there. He really should have had control of that tournament going into a Monday finish. And the second 9 on Monday didn't go very well either. And now here we are. So I guess it's not 3rd round in a row, but weekend round in a row, 3rd weekend round in a row, where the struggles are on the second 9 on the weekend. So that was a little bit frustrating. I know it was frustrating for him. Like the second at 16, the 3rd shot really at 16 was unfortunate. The break there, also a little bit unfortunate. But even earlier in the second 9, it looked like he was struggling a little bit. The one that really sticks out to me was the par 3 13th. I think that play off the tee is really aggressive, where you feel like maybe that side bank there can help you. But you're a fader going at a left pin, missing left like that. Tells me he's trying to hit a cut into, or he either pulled it or he's trying to hit a cut at a left pin and aiming it off the green. Normally, when you play that shot, you aim at the flag. And if the straight one comes out, it's right at the flag. And if it cuts, it's cut into the middle of the green. So missing that left is, I guess, the concern. But that's where it seemed like pressure built.
Yeah, I thought he got a little bit unlucky. I mean, we saw Cantlay's bounce off of that bank in a big way. I thought Rahm got a little bit unlucky, but that was definitely not the shot he will. I can't imagine that was the shot he was trying to execute. It leads to a bogey, and I think that was a turning point because it kind of starts this stretch of golf where he doesn't play particularly well.
Yeah.
So,
and it was just it looked like all of a sudden now he's pressing a guy who's in total control.
Yeah, everybody around him is burying everything. Yeah,
right.
There's a lot happening.
Bogeys feel like doubles out there. So I get it.
Rahm in that group with Bryson going nuts in a bad way and Cantlay stealing shots he's got to be like looking around like what's going on? These guys around me are going crazy.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, this was a crazy day with these 3 guys, especially because your expectation of what was going to happen changed so many different times. Right. Bryson's going to run away with it. Here we go again. He's going to shoot back-to-back rounds of 60, and he's going to blow this tournament out of the water. And I was running in my mind, okay, this is what is he doing so well? Is this really just the distance thing? Well, no, he's putting better. He's putting better again, like he did at the US. So I'm having all these conversations in my head, and then all of a sudden he rinses it twice, and Cantlay's charging up the leaderboard. Is Cantlay going to be player of the year with 3 wins? Well, no, not really, because he won the Memorial. Our players going to, and my mind is just racing at this point, and it changed 4 or 5 times. What's wrong with Jon Rahm? Is Jon Rahm? Rahm will still be there. Oh, another back 9 of struggles. So it was kind of, if you could be in my head during that second 9, in the first 9 too, it was quite entertaining.
Scary place to be, but I'm with you there. It was fun. Okay, we've got an odds situation that I want to go through via our friends over at Caesars. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners. And we're back. Absolutely no surprise here. And I said this a couple of weeks ago, and Mark gave me crap for it, but we have a 2-horse race here, Greg. And that's not me saying that. I'm not saying that. Caesar says it. It's Bryson plus 138, Patrick Cantlay plus 175, and Sungjae Im with the next shortest odds of 12-1. So that's it. It's Cantlay or Bryson DeChambeau, according to our friends over at Caesars, which would break 14 events in a row in which the 54-hole leader failed to get it done. I mean, is it that clear cut? Is it going to take something magical from a Sungjae or an Abraham Ancer or a Rory McIlroy to get this thing done? What does this Sunday look like to you?
Well, I mean, look at Rory McIlroy right there. Okay, I mean, I get the odds that he's sitting with right now, but Rory McIlroy has 3 players in front of him. I know he's tied with others, but only 3 players in front of him, and we haven't had we'll say conservatively, a 54-hole leader win since May. We haven't had that happen since Phil Mickelson won the PGA. So if you've been following the PGA Tour and you're on this trend, it makes sense to me to take a chance on a guy like Rory McIlroy. And the other thing about Rory that I love so much is the way that he's driving the ball, right? He's 4th for the week in strokes gained off the tee. Guys in front of him, Sergio Garcia, who's right there, and Bryson DeChambeau, obviously, who's leading. Dustin Johnson also, who played a great round of golf today. So I think the drivers have really come out this week. They've really come out in great form, and that benefits a guy like Rory McIlroy to me. I wouldn't be afraid of a Sam Burns, who got hot today. So those 2 players, Burns, McIlroy, I think they have a chance to win because of what we've had from the leaders in the past.
Yeah, I think what you've done is correct here, where you've identified the chasers with the highest ceilings, Rory and Sam Burns. And Kyle and I talked about Sam Burns. I guess that would have been on Thursday because Burns was one of the 3 co-leaders. He leads the tour in just absolute ceiling rounds this year. I mean, he is just a ceiling player, a volatile ceiling player, which is what you're going to need if you're going to try to make up 4 or 5 strokes. Do you think that there's any fan out there that exists, Greg, that got back into golf because, or maybe they started following golf because they saw Phil Mickelson win the PGA Championship and that was such a big story, and they're like, wow, okay, I'm going to follow golf now. Let me see what's going on. And that fan has never seen a 54-hole leader convert a victory, and they think this is completely normal.
Oh, even if you do, I think your expectation as a fan, even if you've never seen it, you would think these guys are going to win. I mean, you look at the board right now, and I mean, fans aren't stupid, I guess. Maybe if you've never followed it before, but you look at this board and say, okay, Bryson or Cantlay are going to win. They played great today. They made a ton of birdies. Bryson's the longest guy out there. Patrick Cantlay has been filling it up on the greens. These guys, it's going to be one of these 2 guys. But we know that lead is, it can be significant, but it's probably nothing. Right? It can disappear in an instant. So from a gambling perspective, when you're looking at the odds, those are really, really long odds on Bryson and Cantlay. So, I mean, short odds, really short odds. So it's kind of tough to go that way. Right. And then knowing what we know, I kind of like a Burns and I like a McIlroy in this situation, like I was saying.
Those are definitely pretty good values. Do we know if they're going out I think they're going on threesomes tomorrow.
I believe so too. Because Sungjae, when he holds out, they said that should be good enough for the final group. So I believe it's threesomes.
Sunday, Sungjae in the final group with Patrick Cantlay and Bryson DeChambeau.
Are we overlooking him?
I don't know. We might be. I mean, he's been building towards this. Like, if you look at his metrics, he's been trending this direction. We probably talked about him on Monday. He is, I would obviously love to see him steal this one and just,
don't you have a shoe behind you?
I have, two of them over there somewhere.
Yeah,
one,
you got a whole pair.
Yeah, I got a whole pair.
Golf balls with his face on it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that before we end the show, we didn't, step over Sungjae.
We're just gonna let him fly right under the radar. If we talk about him, then it puts the pressure on because he's gonna be listening. He's a big fan of the pod, I assume. So we don't want to put the pressure on. Let him fly under the radar. Yeah, fair assumption. Okay. Oh, there it is. There's Sungjae. That's the logo. That's on.
Good luck tomorrow, Sungjae. We're all rooting for you.
We're rooting for you, Sungjae. Get it done. We'll be back after round 4 to break down all the seemingly crazy action that is going to happen at Caves Valley on Sunday. For now, let me thank producer Jacob. He does all the hard work behind the scenes. That right there, it's Greg DuCharme. You can find him on Twitter at TheRealGFD, and you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut, and we'll catch you next time.